As long as we're exploring, the natural tuning and how to work slide in with it. There's a lot of Duane Allman fans out there. I love Ry Cooder, Duane Allman, really great players, really innovative. And if you listen to Duane Allman, a lot of times, as I mentioned earlier, you get that sort of harmonica sound. And he did it in such a way that he was so precise with his muting. So you're going to notice that I'm really muting it hard on this. See how I drag my slide off? And by the way, there's many different kinds of slides. I'm using a porcelain little blue moon slide here. I happen to like this one. I know Duane used a Coracedon bottle. Some people prefer metal slides, brass. There's lots of different things. Whatever works for you, whatever finger works for you. Doesn't really matter. There's no rules on that. Some people like their third finger, second finger. The reason I use it on my baby finger is because I like to be able to play freely with my other fingers while I'm doing slide. But back to Duane, we're in the key of E, and when you pull off like that, see how I'm doing that? You notice I'm muting all the other strings here. See my right hand? You notice the only string that's not muted is the G string, and that allows me to pull off really precisely. You can get expressive. And another thing that's really cool is to, I showed you earlier how to jump octaves in G, but if you do it on the E string, that's a cool one. So that's the overdriven sound made popular by guys like Duane Allman. Of course, Duane did, he had an incredible, we talk about the 4 T's, I always go back to that. Touch and tone. Now when you talk about slide, touch and tone go right together because you've got the muting, you've got the vibrato, you've got the floating of the slide on the string. And I think honestly, touch and tone, as well as timing and taste, really play an important part when you're dealing with slide playing. The one thing besides I think slide almost sounds like a human voice. If you listen to the vibrato, it's very, very kind of haunting and a certain melancholy to it. And I'll tell you what playing slide has taught me, among many other things, is it's taught me to play simply. Because if you try to play fast and busy with a slide, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds crazy. Some guys do it, but honestly, the guys that really are able to play memorable notes, and I think this speaks to the playing of Jeff Beck as well. He plays beautiful slide, but if you listen to Beck's playing, you get the... His phrasing is impeccable, and that speaks to his timing and to his taste. And then his tone, of course, is off the charts. He's the holy grail of tones. But in terms of slide playing, it's taught me in my other guitar playing, whether I'm playing lead or rhythm, whatever, the whole notion that less is more. Because very often as guitar players, we get a little bit too busy. We like to hear ourselves play. We get into the shoegazing and what I call the bottle of beer stuff, And we know where that leads. You don't want to go down that path. So it's better, I think, to say it in a few notes and say it well. And that speaks to the taste and the phrasing or the timing, if you will. But for me, playing slide all these years has really informed my lead playing and showed me that when you're playing a lead, like you might want to wait for a while. Give it time, give it space. So I think the best players are not necessarily the busiest players, but what I've come to learn, after years of playing is to make the notes count. I've seen B.B. King bring the whole house down with one note. Same thing with Clapton. It's not that these guys can't play fast. They can, and they do on occasion where it's called for. But back to the 4 T's, I think, it's better to a one well-placed note is better than a lot of notes that are just basically there to show off speed or dexterity. So there's a place for that for sure, but I think slide playing, for me anyway, has informed my lead playing, my rhythm playing. Same thing with rhythm. If I'm playing a rhythm track and I want to hear a it's that space in between. So phrasing, space, that's what gives it the power, I think, especially in the blues. It's what gives it the pocket, the groove. We talk about swinging, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I call that the achoo rhythm. Achoo, achoo, achoo. Very Texas. I'll clean it up and... Again, that's that phrasing, that timing, that makes you really want to move with the music. So really, I can't emphasize enough, I think, what most players that I admire, the mature players like Clapton, Stevie Ray in his day, all the memorable players, Jeff Beck, they really have a sense of timing and phrasing, and I think it's like telling a story, really. I tell my students, when you're playing a solo, you really want to tell a story. Sometimes I'll have students that come in, they'll play a million notes. And I'm like, wait a minute, you lost me on the first 3 notes. I'd rather hear, space. So that's my lesson on slide and natural tuning, and my opinion about taste and timing and touch and tone, all of which I think are equally as important.